Hey, friends. Oh. So I had another little parental epiphany, I called it yesterday. This one was a kind of tangentially parental epiphany. And I say tangentially because it grew out of some thinking and some experience of just being with my daughter. And but then I had a kind of another layer that came through. We watched a video yesterday of Hilary Hahn. Must be one of the world's best violinists right now. I mean, she plays, it's out of this world. And there was a video of her playing two different versions of variations on a theme by Paganini. And it's this one, it's like, I don't know what key it's in. That one. She plays one that I think is the one by Paganini, and then the second one by somebody else. The second one is a treatment of that. Anyway, she spoke for a number of minutes at the beginning of her video. And it was so interesting watching her because she's a young woman, late 20s maybe, and speaking just totally casually, her personality very present, very visible, very transparent. And it struck me just how thoroughly full of humanity she is. She seemed so real and just a human being. She just had a presence that was so filled with kind of an ease, but at the same time, also the mannerisms, the sort of, I saw somebody who's clearly a classical musician, someone who's very much an interior kind of person, opening up to a crowd and speaking. And something about this, there's something that clicked for me about the nature of everything in the world I sort of realized the entire world is a MacGuffin. Now, this is a leap, and I'm going to spell it out for you what I mean here. MacGuffin, I don't know if you, maybe many of you are familiar with the term. MacGuffin is it's the sort of literary device or the narrative device where there's something, there's an ostensible goal to any quest. And at the beginning of the story, the goal is to go and get the MacGuffin, or find the MacGuffin, discover the MacGuffin, but really, as the writers and as the storyteller, we know that the MacGuffin is just the thing that gets the journey started, and really what the hero or heroes or heroines are going to, the true accomplishment and the true revelation, the true enlightenment will happen not because of the MacGuffin, not because of the thing that gets the journey started, but because of what they learn along the way, what the transformation that happens to the characters on their way to this thing. And by the end, we will realize that the thing itself is not the real thing, is not the real transformation, is not the real goal. And I recognized in a kind of a flash yesterday that literally everything in the world is a MacGuffin. Because life, ultimately, in the ultimate sense of consciousness, being in our true nature, discovering the nature of our being beyond all finite boundaries, is always a transcendence of whatever is around. It's always a transcendence of whatever circumstances we're in, of whatever goals we happen to have at this point in time, of whatever obstacles we're facing. It's always something beyond and either prior to or separate from the thing that feels like the thing right now, the thing that it feels like we're either wrestling with or we're moving towards or we're accomplishing, achieving, right? And that's a big thing to recognize. It's both kind of a relief because we get to not take every circumstance, every project, every goal so seriously. Ultimately, it's kind of like, this is like I think this is a fancy way of saying the thing that I don't know if this is a Tony Robbins quote, but I've certainly heard it from him, that life is not about achieving your goals, it's about who you're becoming along the way. It's a long-winded way of saying that, but it's actually, for at least in my the way that I'm experiencing it, there's a deeper level to that. It's not just the tangible goal and the tangible change that's happening. It's the nature of a transcendent dimension that's always beyond whatever we're working with right now. It's always that way. And acknowledging that and being kind of present to that truth, oh my God, it takes the pressure off, and at the same time gives us permission to have as much urgency and engagement and to go full out. In other words, it's not the kind of relaxing insight that lets us just kind of not work with the world anymore or not care so much. We actually get to care more precisely because There's no wrong thing to care about. There's no right thing to care about. There's no goal that has to happen. There's nothing that has to happen before we are ready to do the thing. It's all always beyond the thing. And you know, I'm reminded of like the Bruce Lee 7-inch punch, where the rule was to aim 7 inches behind the target. It's like that. We're always reaching beyond the thing we're looking at right now. How did I get there from Hilary Hahn? Well, I was watching this woman play, you know, just like unbelievable, thoroughly transcendent, spectacular music. A moment after I'd watched her just be a human on stage, a like slightly awkward and like totally just present and transparent human, and then she went into her world and started, her eyes went to that violin, and it was like she just became music. And I realized, you know, I'm working with Annalise on violin daily, and any sense that there's a place to get to that'll then be, you know, this is the thing about our goals. We tend to think that our goals are, we're going to get somewhere, and then and then when we get there, then everything will be fine, or everything will be over, or my struggles will be over, right? If I can just get this much money, this kind of partner, this level of mastery, this house, this car, whatever level of kind of, you know, wherever you are on the spectrum of materialism, when we can just, which ultimately doesn't really matter, because even if our goals are spiritual, if we think that there's some goal to attain and then everything will be, it'll be like the happily ever after, then we're missing the point. It doesn't matter how erudite or how ethereal or lofty our goal is. It's not the nature of the goal that needs to change. It's the nature of how we hold that goal. And something about watching Hilary just be this regular old human and then become this transcendent musician and then turn back into a regular human made me realize she's not there. There's no there. Ultimately, she's going to transcend that. Ultimately, all of us are going to transcend our highest achievements, our greatest level of mastery. It's all going to go away. It's all going to be left behind in service of, or in favor of a kind of transcendence beyond. It's all a MacGuffin. Everything's a MacGuffin. Everything. And somehow clocking that on this level, clocking that on the level of artistic mastery. Because, you know, this is like a super authentic soul connection that I was witnessing. And so it's easy to sort of, especially when our goals are lofty like this, they're creative, they have to do with mastery, self-mastery, musical mastery, spiritual mastery, right? This is kind of so it's definitely my enthusiasm in life, and this is the areas that I care most about. This is what I devote myself to. And it's easy to start to think, oh, well, I'm going to get there one day. And there's no there. There is no there to get to. And watching a master kind of flip from human to divine being back into human it was just kind of a spark and a reminder that that's actually the case no matter what level of mastery we rise to, no matter how lofty a spiritual accomplishment or a level of spiritual mastery we reach, we're going to leave it behind. It's going to dissolve. It will have been a MacGuffin. That helps me relax in my own practice. That helps me relax in my daughter's practice, which watch my post from yesterday if you want to see how that works. But it was just a really nice thing to feel and to let sink in. So that's what I got, people. Thanks for watching. Appreciate you. Have a great day.